Hello, and welcome back to the Pocket Network Podcast, a podcast for real estate professionals like you to innovate your world. I'm your host, Margarita Petrosian, and each week I'll be sitting with industry professionals talking about hot topics, common challenges, and so much more. This week we have Nick from Open House Foto with us. How are you, Nick?
Excellent. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Welcome to the podcast. I'm excited to pick your brain about photography, professional photography in the real estate space specifically. So how did you get into this? Did you just decide you're going to do photography and someone asked you to do real estate, or were you specifically looking out for agents from the beginning?
Man, I don't know how far back I should go, but photography, I don't know. It's kind of, okay. So in 8th grade, I actually shot my first event.
Wow.
No joke. My godfather, who was working for television news,
Yeah.
he let me borrow one of those old school cameras that you put on your shoulder, and I shot my friend's graduation. So I was in
That's
8th
so
grade.
cool.
And I remember because I charged them $10, which was like 5,000 of like Armenian currency, and they paid me half, but they never paid. Till today, I remember
Wow.
that. Like, I can't believe they didn't pay me the other half. But anyways, I loved it. I remember going into that room where like everybody was watching. Keep in mind, there was like no edits, and
Yeah.
I don't know how I knew that at that time. So at that time, like, these cameras had like buttons on them, so you just press a button, and then like if you went like shut it off, you would fade in, fade out. So
Yeah.
you had to do all the post production in the camera while you were shooting.
Wow.
Craziest thing ever, right? And I remember
14 years old, 8th grade?
probably, yeah, something like that.
That's amazing.
And like I remember shooting it, and I loved it. I was like, man, this is so cool. Anyways, fast forward, we come to this amazing country, and I remember we had a lot of problems with our paperwork. You know, like just like many people, like
Yeah.
the green card was getting tough and everything. It was a tough time. So I remember my dad would tell me like take me to garage sales, and I know you're like, where are we going with this? But trust me,
Yeah.
it's getting good. So my dad would like take me to garage sales, and I loved it, and I was like interested in what people had. I love antique items and stuff like that. So keep in mind, I'm still in high school. I don't have a driver's license, and I was working. I think I was making pretzels or something.
Oh,
at
wow.
Yeah.
You were working already.
Yeah, at What's Pretzels.
Yeah.
Because we had to like get money for like lawyers and stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to like work. And I remember, I don't know what triggered in me. Like I went and then like I saw some things, and I remember buying it. And I had a point and shoot camera. I bought the item. I think it was like a lamp. It was like 75 cents. I kid you
Yeah.
not. It was massive. I bought the lamp. I put it on Craigslist. And keep in mind, this is like before cell phones, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just like flip phones. And I put it on Craigslist, and some lady in Beverly Hills, she came from Beverly Hills, I remember, she paid me $150 for that. Can you
For
imagine?
a lens?
For a lamp.
Oh, a lamp. Okay.
Yeah, like this massive lamp.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like massive. In my mind, I'm like, okay, 75 cents, a massive item.
Yeah.
This thing's gotta it has to be worth something. So my friend and I, we like deliver this thing, and then like she gives us like 160, like 10 more bucks for
Oh,
like,
wow.
can you imagine from 75 cents to even like today, that's like insane
Yeah,
margins.
that's
like
crazy.
insane profit margins, right? So I was like, okay, this is cool. So I started doing like little things like that. And then one day, my dad had a minivan, and then one day I bought a bicycle. And again, same concept. I bought it for a little, and then I sold it. But I realized the bicycles were selling more than any item I had.
Yeah.
And then one day, like my dad was a cyclist too. Like till today, he's like super active, right? And so he started like fixing some of the bicycles I had. And I realized if I put like literally dollars into a bicycle, I can get $100+ more back.
Yeah.
When I sell it, right? Now, like, imagine like I'm selling you a bicycle, but this one has tubes and tires and the brakes work, and you're like, I could ride it right now.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. But what happened was a lot of people I became really popular. I was selling it to all the college students. I had my URL. I had a little website I created with like Apple's, I forgot what the thing, I think it was called iWeb or something like that. It was an
Okay.
app. It's not around
Yeah.
anymore. It was like super easy to create websites. And then like people would come from like Santa Barbara, Venice Beach, and stuff like
Wow.
that. Like a lot of college
It
students,
was a
right?
real business.
Yeah, it was like legit, like not like super legit, but
Yeah.
it's like all cash. And I remember this girl made a comment once. She said, I love this bike, but I wish you had a better photos. because I didn't realize there was like a few like dents on the side. Now keep in
Okay.
mind, these are like old school bikes. College students love bikes.
Yeah.
They look like crap, so to speak, but they ride amazing, right? Because people don't want to steal them.
Yeah.
So then
That's
I was
actually
like,
smart. I didn't think of the plus
Yeah.
side.
right? Because like imagine like it was like this bike that looked beat up, but it had
But it
like,
works
new
perfectly.
tubes, new tires, bearings are new, the chains
Yeah.
new brakes. Like nobody wants that bike.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I was like, she goes like, you know what? She's like, I wish you like had better photos. So one day I was like, okay, let me just go to Sammy's Camera, which is in Pasadena, right? They have them everywhere. It's like a Best Buy before cameras.
Okay.
So I go to Sammy's.
They still have those around?
Yeah, Sammy's Camera still. I still go there today.
Oh, wow.
Like they love me there. I rent stuff there. I buy stuff there. So
Yeah.
it's amazing. So it's like if you're a photographer, you know where that is.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I go there and the guy tells me like, oh, you gotta buy this camera or whatever. And I remember I don't remember this, but Ashton Kutcher was doing advertisement for Nikon cameras.
Okay.
And they had this one Nikon camera. It was a Nikon D5000. It's like you hold it and it had a flip screen. And I was like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing
That is
ever.
pretty
like,
cool. Even today.
Yeah. My new camera today has that
Yeah.
specific feature. So they were like way ahead of the game, right? So instead of doing this, I was like, oh, cool, I could hold it like this. So now I have this camera.
And this
I'm
was
like,
literally just to take photos of old bikes.
old bikes. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure I provide decent customer service because
Yeah.
I'm like these people. I even bought like it was like a white tile or something. I put her next to our garage so I could take bicycles. So imagine every single bicycle was on his white background,
Yeah.
super bright, close up photos and everything else. And then I was like, what have I done? Like I just spent like I don't know, was it like $600 on a
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of
And
money.
this was years ago.
Yeah,
So that's
like-
a little bit more today.
like more than like 20 something years ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, what have I done? So I go back, and the guy was like a jerk too. He's like, no, man. He's like, we don't have returns. Keep in mind, like, there's no Amazon or anything
Yeah,
like that. Those free
you
like.
can't.
I was like, crap. So whatever. I was like, I'll keep the camera. And then at the time I was going to church. I was very
Yeah.
involved. I'm still very involved. So I was going to church, and then one day I was like, I'm gonna take this camera with me to church. So I started taking photos of people, and I think it was our Thanksgiving dinner. So I took photos of like people, and then I took photos of people, and I made a slideshow.
For the
Okay?
church.
For the church.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there at our Christmas dinner because I took photos at Thanksgiving dinner so I could show during Christmas dinner, which
Yeah.
is like, a few days later. And I remember like looking at people's faces and having them see themselves on that projector. And they were so like happy seeing themselves.
Yeah.
And
And
I
you
was
probably
like-
got some really good shots too. It's not just because it was
You know,
photos.
I think I did. I mean, this was so long ago.
Yeah.
I didn't have the right flash. Church had horrible lighting. It was
Yeah.
just bad. I'm so used to being to churches. Like, it's yellow but people loved it.
Our church is a little different. We have
Yeah.
my producer that actually works on lighting, so we're phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, at the time.
Sorry to put that in there. Shout out to our producer, Geb.
Do you have his card? No. So
I will give you his card. We will post his information for anyone that wants it.
good lighting
Yeah.
at churches.
Perfect lighting.
So like at that time, again, like it was like so long ago. I don't understand lighting. My lens was
Yeah.
off, whatever. But people loved it. They loved it, and I had a little bit of music.
And you got the satisfaction of seeing people that you
Yes.
feel you really are connected with, that you love, just being happy for a moment. And it was something simple.
Very simple. And then people were like, "How did you do all that?" I was like, "Oh my god, I did nothing. Like I just put it
Well,
on
with
auto mode."
$600.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do it
so
too.
imagine like 20 years ago, $600 camera. They're like, whoa,
Yeah.
what is that? Like, oh, you could change the lenses and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was kind
You're
of like
automatically a professional
Yeah,
photographer. That's it.
Exactly. So, anyways,
That's
so
how
I
it
started
started.
taking
That's
photos.
actually a
Yeah,
really cool story.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like-
Because also a lot of people, a lot of kids, they wouldn't just pick that up and run with it. They would just say thank you and then move on with their life. But
Yeah.
you did something with it.
and then some time passed by, and my very, very good friend Susan from church, she said, "Hey, you want to take photos of my kid's birthday?" And I was like, "No, like, I'm not good at this." Yeah, because I'm not good at this. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to like ruin her kid's memory, right?
Yeah.
And keep in mind, like, she was like one of those like moms who likes to go all out. Like, the kids have like a theme. The birthday has a theme, like it was
Yeah.
like Lakers or something. But I did it, and she loved it. She was like, "Oh my god, these are so great!" And of course, moms are connected to other moms,
Yeah.
so on and so forth. And then one day, Susan was like, "Hey," she's like, "Did you know that they take photos for spring? I guess there's like Easter photos
For
spring for
kids,
free.
Yeah.
I'm sure you see the advertisements all the time."
Give them any milestone.
Exactly. So I went, but this time I had already changed my camera to like something a little better. So I went to Sammy's, same place, and I
Yeah.
rented this really cool lens, like stuff they use for like NFL or like
Yeah.
basketball games. It was like super
So
long
you
lens.
were all in.
Man, I was all in. And here's the thing. When you don't know how to use your camera and you're shooting kids, like it's a nightmare. Because by the time you figure out your settings, that kid is gone.
Yeah.
And the whole time
Even
I'm
with
like,
the live photo
yeah.
on iPhone right now.
And I'm like, I would take one and I'm like, okay. And I look up, the kid's gone.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a struggle.
and I was doing like these mini sessions, which is like 30 minutes. So
Yeah.
in 30 minutes, I had to somehow figure out what all those, but, and I'm thinking to myself today, I'm like, why didn't I just put like a doll or something at a park and practice? I know
How
you
old
look-
were you then?
Maybe like 21 or something.
That could
22.
be why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be
You weren't
kind of
used to
creepy.
being with kids.
You know, if like somebody goes to the park and they see me taking photos of like a doll missing an eye or something.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah, it's super weird. I'm sure people think it's art, but
Yeah.
But then I was like, I should have done that. Anyway, so slowly one thing led to another, like birthday here, birthday there, and then I realized that every group of moms had that one alpha mom.
Yeah.
Like everybody looked up to. It was just like high school,
Oh,
just on a
yeah.
larger scale. It's like Stacy's so perfect and she's so popular, you know, whatever.
Was it a Stacy?
No.
I was like, is it an Armenian church? Do we have
No,
Stacy's?
it was a Stacy. But like, she was like the top popular one. So I reached out
Yeah.
to her through like other moms, and I was like, hey, I'm trying to like get my foot in the door and stuff like that. And she was like a super wealthy mom, and she was
Yeah.
like doing all these crazy over the top, you know, stuff
Birthday
for her daughter.
parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she hired me.
Great
and I
content
remember,
for a portfolio.
yeah, like once you have that, it's just like game over. You know,
Yeah.
like 6-foot cake for her kid.
Oh my
You have
goodness.
like Tallene come out, do
Oh
her
my
thing.
goodness,
You're like,
Tallene.
oh, the celebrity. Anyways, and then she was like really popular, so she did her thing.
Yeah.
And then I took the photos, and then she was like, don't worry, I'm gonna tell you like all the moms about it, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yes. So
Were you editing these too at this point at 21?
yeah, I was because yeah, I was editing them actually. I got the Lightroom program, and I was like
Yeah.
kind of like I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, and then slowly, yeah, and she told me about other moms and stuff like that. And I think I was like probably 25 at the time. Keep in mind, I had other jobs too. I was a bartender at the time, and then I was a waiter. So I was trying to do this on the side, which is kind of cool because like, especially whoever's watching this, like,
Yeah.
if they're trying to get in it, like, don't freaking quit your job
Yeah.
and then just get into it because
Yeah, especially with most events, it's usually after work anyway.
yeah, and then like weekends. So I remember like Best Buy was such a huge help for me because like although like Sammy's was like cool with their stuff, but like Best Buy was offering 18 or 24 months 0%.
Oh yeah, with
Like,
their credit card.
Yeah, and they still
Yeah.
do that. So imagine like you have your full-time job or part-time whatever, and then you're paying up for these items. So it was
Yeah.
great. So I was able to like buy a camera, then wait a little bit, buy a lens.
Yeah, it's not a huge investment right away.
Exactly. So it was good. So I'm like 25 at the time, and I just got my citizenship.
Oh wow.
I was like, game over.
Yeah.
I'm
Now
in.
the
That's
world
what's
is
up.
yours, literally.
Yeah, I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Because the whole time before that, I was scared.
Yeah.
Like, my lawyer was like, you might have to go back.
Oh my goodness.
And I
That
was-
is terrifying.
Yeah, like,
Especially once you found something you love and it's picking up.
not just that, like, our freaking family, man. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
going to not see my family. And we had a dog, too. And I was like, I'm not going to see this dog, like,
Was
ever.
the dog more important or the family? Be honest, I won't tell them.
I don't know who's watching this. So the whole family, I'm like, I can't believe this is gonna happen. But and of course, thank God, like I had my faith. It was crazy time. We were
Yeah.
all in prayer and stuff like that. My faith got a lot stronger through that time. So I'm 25. I got my work permit, driver's license, everything. I don't know why, and I kind of regret doing this, but I kind of started working for like a cable company. I'm sure a lot of you know that,
Okay.
Spectrum.
Yeah, a
Now-
natural progression in a young man's life, from
So
what
I'm
I've
like,
heard.
So I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, now I'm legal. Like I should probably get a legal job.
Yeah.
So I started working here, and the pay was like decent. So again, I started doing like more events and stuff like that. Now fast forward, I'm 30, and I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
Still
Why
at the cable company?
Yes, exactly. So on
You're
July,
very dedicated. You're loyal. So that's what I'm hearing right now. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was good money. So, or back then, it was good
Yeah.
money, you know? I had my Prius. I was happy.
Yeah.
Okay, I was super. And I was still doing bicycle stuff. So keep in mind,
Oh,
I'm still
wow.
doing events.
You
I'm
were
still,
doing a lot.
I was, but the bicycle stuff was cool because, like, at the time, a lot of my friends and I were, like, going out drinking and stuff. And I wasn't trying, like, drink as much. And so it was like a good excuse to stay home on Sunday nights or
Yeah,
Saturday
you have
nights.
work always.
Yeah, and like guys, I'm working. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're cool. You're off the hook.
Yeah.
So
This is how you
yeah.
don't give in to peer pressure, apparently.
Just work.
Great advice. Yeah, you just
Find-
work 24/7.
What are your friends gonna say? Oh, don't freaking
Yeah.
work. No.
Yeah.
So I'm 30. July 4th, I leave my job, my full-time job.
Independence Day for real.
Yeah, seriously. I'm like, this is it. This is what we fought against the English for.
Oh, you fought against the English war.
Our people.
Yeah.
This is what happened. Okay. I'm like, this is
so
it.
Americans fought just for this one immigrant boy to come
Right here.
to America
Right
in the
here.
future so that he
Yes.
could quit his job on July 4th.
America.
Yeah.
America.
We're having really like big talks right now. Huge history lessons for anyone watching.
Massive.
Love it.
Massive.
Yeah.
So I'm 30. I have about $17,000 in my account.
Wow.
Which I thought was
At the time,
lot.
yeah.
I was like, I have so much money.
Yeah. Should have bought a
Okay.
house.
Yeah. I mean, back then, it's like,
You probably could have, honestly.
I'm like, I
Back
have
when a condo was $10,000.
Exactly. Now it's not.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got money. Let me leave. But honestly, like, obviously till today, like, I obviously made the right decision.
Yeah.
Because look, I love my job. I love my coworkers. Some of them, they still work there today. Like, I still visit. I use their services, obviously. But like I had to do that. And I'm so grateful to my friends who pushed me to do that. Because one of them is a realtor, the other is
Yeah.
a appraiser, the other one had his own painting. Like, this is what they always say, like, surround yourself with, like, people who will, like, who you want to be like.
Yeah. People who
And-
will really support you.
100%. Like, like, every day I go to work and every day, like, every accomplishment I have, I always call them. Like, from time to time, we still talk. I'm like, dude, thank you for, like, pushing me, man.
Yeah.
Like, 7-8 years ago. That was bomb. Like, seriously, you guys are
That's
amazing.
why I'm here today.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, because of you guys.
And it's great that you're still remembering that.
Like, even on my wedding day, I even said a toast. I was like, guys,
Yeah.
thanks for, like,
This is why I'm marrying
this
her.
is why.
Yeah.
So I leave my job and I'm like, this is not cool. First of all, it's like empty. I'm like, nothing is happening.
What do you mean it's empty?
Like, you go to work like 9 to 5 and then now all of that stops.
Oh, yeah. You don't have that schedule.
You don't have the
The
schedule.
stability.
So I'm like, what do I do with myself? Okay, I'll watch TV 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. I'll do like one Sweet 16 a month. Okay,
Yeah.
and then what? You know, I still had my Prius. I was still cool. But like, what do I do? So I'm like, okay, this is not fun. This is not fun. So I went into, I don't want to say depression, but I was like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
And I talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people who have like full-time jobs, they kind of do that. When they start working
Yeah.
on their own, because everything just switches. Like, then you're like, man, should I have gone back? Should I?
Well, it's not just a full-time job. You had like 3 jobs on the side on
Yeah.
top of that.
Yes.
And now you're not doing any of that.
Exactly. And thank God, like, I was like still living with my parents, stuff like that. And I was like, I didn't have like too many crazy bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to brag, but I think my Prius was paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
the
don't wanna- I
reality
don't
of
wanna brag,
adulthood
like,
wasn't really
too
hitting
crazy.
you
Yeah.
too hard.
Like a cell phone bill, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like something like that. It was chill. It was cool.
Yeah.
And at this time, like, we had already paid off our lawyer and like stuff. It was
So
expensive.
life was good.
Yeah, life was okay.
Yeah.
So one day, my church and I, we go to Camp Arab. I don't know if you've heard about them,
Yes.
Camp Arab
Yeah,
in
of
Fraser
course.
Park.
Yeah.
We go there, and then I took my drone, and I flew some shots, and apparently for the first time ever, drone was flown was mine, apparently. Because
Oh,
keep in
wow.
mind, this is 2015, okay?
Okay.
This is when I first left my job. So somehow, like, I sent that photo to a friend of mine who knew the director at Camp Arab,
Okay.
Razmik.
Yeah.
So Razmik calls me. He says, hey, man, we have camp, 3 weeks. It's, oh my God, was it like in August or so? July to August.
I think they have a few different ones.
Yeah, for like
Yeah.
junior high and high
Yeah.
school. He says, look, we have a guy. He's cool, but I've heard good things about you. I know you have a drone. By the way, at that time, it was like crazy. Like, you had a drone. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
It was the new tech.
It was the new tech. So he was like, hey, man, can you come, like do the camp thing? And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, it's a lot of time, you know? He's
Yeah.
like, we'll pay you. He's like,
So
it's
he
not...
wanted you there full-time 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
you come home, like, on weekends, and then you go
Okay.
back.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I was like, I hung up. And then I was like sitting at our backyard. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, I have nothing going on. So I picked up the
Yeah.
phone. I'm like, hey, man, I'm sorry, but I'm
It's
in.
a yes.
Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And those 3 weeks changed me. Like, it wasn't, it was everything. It was like the worship. It was like having amazing people around me. I bought GoPros. I was putting GoPros on kids' heads.
That's so
I was
cool.
putting GoPros everywhere. The drone was flying. I remember when they were playing the videos, because they would play the videos on Saturday morning when parents would come to pick up their kids.
Like a recap of the week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So parents would come up to me. They're like, "How did you get those? Like,
Yeah.
did you guys have a helicopter? How many people were here?"
A
Because keep in
helicopter.
mind, like, I was doing both photography and videography
You should have
at
been
the
like,
time.
yeah, I had SWAT come in and we
Seriously,
used the
like,
helicopter for the footage.
Like, think about it. Like, people didn't know drones existed
Yeah.
at that time. So they're like, "How the heck did you do that?"
Yeah.
Now, so it was cool. So like, I'm like, okay, like I feel a lot better now. One thing I forgot to mention, by the way, before that, a few years prior to that,
Yeah.
when my sister got married, I met this amazing couple, Rebecca and Michael from Visual Masterpiece, cinematographers.
Okay.
And I remember my sister chose them because she didn't want that typical like Armenian style.
Okay. So it was
And
something different.
It was stunning. Like their stuff was like a movie. Their
Oh, wow.
wedding. So I
So
connected
ahead of
with
its
them.
time.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Like I'm still friends with them. They're like amazing. So they had a workshop.
Okay.
And the workshop was $1,500. And I was like, where the hell am I going to find this kind of money? And keep in mind, this was around the time when I had left my job. Like just left my job. So I did the workshop and it was amazing. Now keep in mind, the workshop was specifically for wedding videography.
Okay.
But
Which
like,
is, I'm assuming, different than normal videography.
well, it's like a lot more difficult, but it's amazing because it shows you how to work with like people.
Okay.
So like especially for like women hate to be shot from bottom up.
Oh,
I learned that, right? A lot of people don't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that. That
Like
wasn't
it's
public
like
knowledge.
women hate
Yeah,
that
it's a bad
crap.
angle.
Like do not do
Yeah,
that. Or
don't do
like
that.
don't do this angle. And when the bride's getting dressed, you could get these like cool shots. So when I took that workshop, like that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
So around the Camp Out time and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, like now I'm doing better, you know? So one day, out of the blue, by the way, thanks to my friends, they told me to get a Yelp page. Okay, same guys who like asked me to
Back
leave. Yeah,
in the day,
exactly. They
people
were like,
still
dude,
use
get a
Yelp?
Yelp page. Yeah. So I got a Yelp page. Again, few reviews here and there. I have
Yeah.
like 100 plus right now or something, but for my wedding stuff.
For any of Nick's listeners who haven't written a Yelp review for him already, just right now, just go open
Camera
up a different tab
Productions.
while you're listening.
Yes.
It's important. Write a review.
Camera production.
Yeah. It's called Nick Camera Productions.
No, it's just Camera Productions.
Oh, just
with a
Camera
K,
Productions.
but with a K.
With a K.
Yeah, Camera Productions with a K.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Oh, so at this time, I'm like, okay. So this guy calls me out of the blue. He's like, do you do real estate photography?
And who was this guy? You didn't know
His
him?
name? No, he was just
Oh,
an
okay.
agent. He was just an
Okay.
agent from like Golden something. What was that real broker's name?
I have no idea.
Golden something. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
So he calls me. He's like, do you do real estate photography? I said, yes.
Good. You learned from Camp Audiv. Just say yes to everything.
Yes, everything. So I'm like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay. And I remember because I took the class with Rebecca and Michael, they told me to get a wide angle lens, which was kind of cool because, like, you know, when you're doing like banquet halls and stuff like that, you want to capture that light. So I used the same lens. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I watched a couple of YouTube videos. So I went in every room. I just literally stand there with my flash and I'm like, and then I went
Just
each
one
room.
photo or videos
like,
too?
No, just photo. For that, I was just
Okay.
doing photos. Like I went in. Until today, I have that lens. It's funny. I was thinking about it. So then I went another room, like, and another image. So then, like, I took a bunch of photos, and then I went home and like a little editing, and the guy goes like, "Hey, these are great. Here's $150." And I was like, "Oh my god." I just made money during the week because keep in mind, all my money was being made on the weekends.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even
that's when the
doing that
events
great.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I remember I didn't love working on weekends because like I couldn't go to church with my parents and stuff like that. And I was like, oh man, this sucks. So I was like, oh my God, there's like money to be made during the week. This is kind of cool. Okay. So then I'm like, how do I like advertise myself? So I started like talking to a lot of people and like, here's like a really good advice, by the way. And I heard this advice during NPR's How I Build It just recently.
Okay.
Leatherman is the guy's name who builds those pocket tools. You know, the ones, the little nice pocket knives. It's a company. It's called Leatherman.
Got it.
He said, and it's funny he said it because I've been saying this for so long. He said, when you call, right? Let's say you're trying to get business from someone. Let's say I call a real estate company and they call him the gatekeeper.
Okay.
The receptionist picks up. It's easier for them to give you advice on how to do something versus them giving you their business. and I'll tell you how. Like, hey, hi, excuse me, is Mr. John in? Let's say he's the broker, right?
Okay.
Oh, he's not. Who's asking? It's their job to like get rid of you.
Yeah.
But then I started calling people and I was like, hey, I'm really starting you. I know you're busy. I'm so sorry to bother you. I'm trying to reach out to like other brokers. What's the best way of doing it? And they would give me the best advice.
That's pretty cool.
It is the best thing. Like, because like when somebody asks you something, like you're like, whoa, like where'd you come from? It's,
Yeah.
it's so much. You're
It's
like,
easier to be rude if they're just demanding
just
something
like,
from you.
bye.
Yeah.
And I would say like, hey, I'm so sorry. Like, could
Yeah.
you help me
They're
out?
trying to help someone who's just starting out,
Exactly.
wants advice, and they can give their advice for free. It won't hurt the person they're working for. But in
100%.
reality, they're arming you with what you could do to get business.
Because this way, it's a win-win. They get rid of you, and you get knowledge.
Yeah.
It's freaking beautiful. You know what I
And
mean?
whatever you keep hearing repeated, obviously that might work.
That
So you
might
can
be
actually
work.
try it.
So I started getting some good advice. One of them was like, why don't you reach out to Realtors Association or Association of Realtors?
Yeah.
I was like, interesting. So I went and spoke to them. And one realtor, again, same thing. I was like, hey, like, you guys can give me some advice. One of them said, why don't you start doing presentations at offices? I was like, interesting. They're like, yeah, they're like every Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever, they have a staff meeting.
Yeah.
So then I started like buying lunch for the whole office
Oh,
and
wow.
doing like a 5-minute
You had the
presentation.
pharmaceutical approach. That's what
Oh, that's right,
pharmaceutical
that's right,
reps
yeah.
did when I used to work in the medical industry.
My wife is a pharmacist,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Perfect. There we go.
So like, so I started doing that more and more. And then like I started getting some clients. But then I don't know how I saw a video, like a real estate video once. No, you know what? No. That's not what happened. I flew my drone over someone's house and I was like, man, it'd be cool to make like real estate videos.
Yeah.
So then, I know this sounds really creepy, but just bear with me, okay?
Okay.
So
I'll
one day,
try my best.
one day I'm at a post office and there's a
Okay.
girl in front of me.
Okay.
She opens her like little wallet to get her money out. And right there, it says real estate photographer on her business card.
So she was a real estate photographer.
Yes. So
Okay.
I follow her out. I'm like,
Okay.
hey, man, I'm not trying to
So
be
you
weird
could- yeah.
or anything, but
Yeah.
I freaking read it.
Yeah.
I'm like weird with like details, which
Yeah.
helps my job. But
Yeah, I bet.
so I see her card and I'm like, listen, I'm a real estate videographer. Let's work together. You know, put my name out there and
Yeah.
I'll give you a small cut. She said, okay.
Wow, that's smart. Yeah, you do the photos, I do the videos.
Again, same concept.
competition.
I don't want money from her. I
Yeah.
just want her to, it's a
and
win-win.
she can benefit from your clients as well.
100%.
Yeah.
So she gives me my first gig in San Marino, massive 4,000 square foot home. I'm like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? So I do this little video.
And you put the drone in the house as well.
No. So
Okay.
so at that time, now I have it, but it's called a stabilizer. A lot of people think it's a drone, but like
Yeah.
it's just like a stabilizer, a camera. You just walk through the house.
Okay, got it.
So
It's
I
like what all the YouTube kids use now. So that the video
Exactly.
doesn't shake too much. Got it.
Precisely.
Okay.
And there's like the smaller version for iPhones and
Yeah.
stuff. Yes, it's like a stabilizer.
Yeah.
So, I flew the drone around, and at the time I didn't have stabilizers, so I had this thing that would go left to right. I was like, left to right, whatever. And then they liked it. They were like, it's cool, so they gave me some money for it. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
And you weren't
something's happening.
upfront charging them? Like they were just deciding how much to pay you?
You know what it was? Yes and no. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember exactly how it went. I remember I would
Yeah.
just say a price.
Okay.
So one day, I'm driving on Sunset Boulevard, and I'm sure you know the show very well, Selling Sunset.
Not very well, but
yeah,
because of
no-
this
no
podcast,
of it, yeah.
I started hearing about it.
Yeah, my wife watches it all the time. So
Yeah.
the company's called Open House Group.
Okay.
Jason and his brother, they're like the top dogs there.
Yeah.
So I remember I was with my dad's Nissan Sentra at the time. This is like way back. And I wasn't very clean
No Prius
that day.
at the time?
No, I didn't have that kind of money. So like, I was probably like a shitty shirt or something.
Yeah.
So I literally walk in there, and I had business cards at this
Into
point.
their office?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the time. And
Yeah.
they're still there on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
Like in the Sunset Plaza.
They had the show for years? I thought it was a new show.
No,
I guess I'm
been,
just
it's been
super
around for a
behind.
minute.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been around for a minute. So I walk into their place and I just give my card and I just walk out.
You said nothing.
I said, no, it's okay. You just call me. I'm like, I'm a real estate photographer,
Okay.
videographer. They're like, okay. So they call me. I'm like, oh my God. At that time, I didn't know how big of a deal they were. I
Yeah.
just thought it was like, oh, I'm on Sunset. I don't know why. And now that I think about it, what the heck was I doing there?
Apparently something really good because it benefited you.
Yeah.
They called you. You did something right.
So he calls me and he's like, "Hey, you want to shoot this house?" And I write down the address, Mulholland Drive.
Yeah. Oh,
And he's
Mulholland
like,
Drive. It's nice.
Dude,
Yeah.
this is like good stuff. And I'm like, okay, Mulholland Drive. I didn't know what that was, where that
Yeah.
was, none of that. And I think did I have an iPhone? Maybe it was like iPhone 4 or something.
Okay.
So like maps, like or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay. I'm like, okay, cool. And then he's like, how much do you charge? I was like, 600.
And
He's
you
like,
thought that was a lot at the time?
yeah. I was like,
Okay.
oh my god, this is so much money.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll give you 3. I was
300?
like, deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like deal. So then I go and it's a very famous home. It's called the Boat House.
Okay.
It was originally designed and not designed, but like I think it may have been designed
Is it by the water?
No.
Oh, okay.
Mulholland Drive, like in the mountains. It's like I think it's like borderline Studio City, Beverly's, I think. And it's called the Boat House, and it's designed like an actual boat. Like if you Google it, it looks just like a boat.
Yeah.
You have the multi layers, and then the front end of the boat, which has a pool in it. So
I'd like to know how he sold that house. That there's not too many people that want to buy an actual boat-looking house.
It was crazy. I remember there was a Persian family there, and I went, and they were so nice. They're like, "Oh, are you the photographer?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm the photographer." You know, they're like super. They're like, "Oh, you want some tea?" I'm like, "I'm nervous. I gotta shoot this thing right now." So
Tea would have calmed your nerves.
I don't know, man. Maybe, but I was like so like into it. I just had water.
It was your
like
first
a dream.
big gig.
100%. I was just happy to be in that home.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I do my thing, I fly my drone around, and they really liked it. They're like, this is good, man. And I'm like, oh my God, they think this is good. But I never hear back from them again. You know, they pay me, I'm happy, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they pay me. Now I have like QuickBooks. Did they send me a check? Did I go pick up money? I don't know. It was weird. So one day, I'm sure you know the company called Agency. They're very popular now.
Yeah.
So an agent from the agency calls me. He says, hey, we want to buy licensing to that video. The Boat House.
How does that work?
Because they took over.
Okay.
So they don't want to go pay someone new. They want to get the licensing.
They just want to use that video.
Correct. Now keep in mind, this is maybe like 7 years ago. I didn't know what licensing meant.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, man, I can tell you this. Just use the freaking video.
No, you didn't.
Yes.
Oh my God. They're offering you money straight up.
I know. But you hired me for 2 more listings.
Okay.
He said
that's
yes. Good. And it was my first time ever I worked with the agency.
Wow.
It was a big step. Like these were like good homes. And then at this time, like I was slowly like building my equipment and stuff like that. You know, it was like I was getting like a taste of it. I was like, this is neat, man. So I was like, okay. So then my mind went back to the drawing board, as they say. And I was like, okay, Narek. I talk to myself a lot. Okay. I was like, okay, Narek, you have pretty good samples. Because that's the idea, right? As a new person, your job is simple. Work free, get samples, take the samples to someone that pays, and then they pay you. That's it. As simple as I can put it, right? For example, I've seen like a lot of real estate videography groups. I see people like with samples of like Rite Aid building. And I'm like, nobody's going to hire you for that. Like
Writing building?
Rite Aid. Like Rite Aid, Walgreens, they take like aerial photos of Walgreens. They're like, I have some samples. I'm like, no, you don't. That's not how that works.
Just because it was something free they could do in a parking
like
lot.
I just want to show my real estate. I'm like, no, that's not how that works. It has to be a home. Like no realtor will ever hire you because you have like, some will. Yeah. But you need like actual freaking homes. Like they're like, what the hell did you shoot?
So they can imagine what your work would actually be like.
Like inside maybe. So I'm like, okay, I got the samples. I have pretty decent equipment at this time. Yeah. You know, I'm doing okay on weekends with events. It's slowly picking up. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I think I had just bought a BMW at that time.
Nice.
Like, I am
upgraded from the Prius.
I thought I was cool. I don't think I talked to my friends for 2 weeks. I was I'm way too good for you guys. Like
these friends that encouraged you to leave your job.
100%.
Wow.
I was like, I'm better than everyone.
I was giving you so much credit for continuing to thank them. Yeah.
You should have waited.
Apparently.
I can't believe you jumped the gun on that. But he has a happy ending, so we're good.
Yeah.
So I had a BMW. I'm like, this is cool. I'm going to drive my car to cool places, go to offices. Keep in mind, I was still doing the office staff meetings.
Okay.
But
just showing up for presentations.
But the thing is, you you have the West Side, which is Beverly Hills, Brentwood, Bel Air, all the good stuff where I like to work. And then you have like San Gabriel Valley, Glendale, Burbank. So I was getting like little jobs here and there. And keep in mind, like at this time, I was preaching like Instagram. Instagram was only 15 seconds. And people were just like, screw you. Like, what do you charge? Like they were
People
giving me
had not
condos.
realized how big Instagram was at the time.
Because they were just like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, guys, I was like, we can make one video for branded, unbranded, and then Instagram. They're like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, yeah, it's a crazy 15 seconds. I remember when Instagram was 1 minute, I couldn't sleep for like 2 days. I was so excited.
Oh my goodness.
I was so freaking excited.
It was overwhelming to me. So it's good that someone immediately
I was beyond
saw the
excited.
value of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, Narek. I was like, we need a Trojan horse. A Trojan horse would be someone that works with these individuals that will get me in.
Yeah.
Just like the real estate photographer did, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need a real estate photographer. So I looked up online. I called and emailed a bunch of people. One guy stood out. His name was Mark Angeles.
Why did he stand out?
Well,
Did he have some nice listings?
He emailed me
because
back
he
and it was really
responded.
nice. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, the stuff he did was great. He's the nicest guy.
Okay.
So for about a year, I emailed this guy.
No work, just emailing?
Yeah, because what happened was he already had a person he was working with, and he is so freaking, like, he's the best.
Yeah. So you just continued networking, just out of respect.
And I was like, hey, Mark, I was like, what do you think about this drone? Do you think this will, like, add value?
Yeah.
I can't believe, like, he was, now that I think about it, like, why did he even spend all that time, like, talking to me?
Yeah.
You know, like...
Well, it's because he saw value in your friendship, not just wanted to use
but it was
you
just
for
like
work.
emails, you know? It's like...
Yeah. No, we always, at the Pocket Network, that's one thing that we always like to point out, that any form of networking, even if you're not going to do anything with them right away, it's very important because not only does it build you up, so he was sort of a mentor to you, and at times you were to him with your advice, but also, just like you're about to tell us, in the future, you can end up working with them. So it's always nice to have one of these contacts in your pocket.
I still give him so much props, man. I mean, he's such a freaking nice guy.
Giving him crap because he stayed friends?
Props.
Oh,
no, I give him props.
I was like, whoa.
No, not crap. No, the opposite.
That changed real quick.
No. He's Filipino, so like once a month, him and I will go to a different Armenian place so he can
try the different stuff.
Yeah. We have the best conversations. He was at my wedding. Like his wife's shoots too. Like I freaking love this guy. Like so, anyways, for like a whole month. No, excuse me, about a year. And then one day he messaged me. He goes like, "Hey," he goes like, "My guy is out of town. Like, are you free?"
His videographer.
Correct.
Okay.
And I was like, "This is it, Narek."
This is your opportunity.
So I show up to the listing. It's in Bel Air. Stunning,
Beautiful,
4-story home, all glass.
Oh my goodness.
Just all glass with the views of there's a lake in Bel Air or something.
Okay.
But here's the problem. I show up and I'm like, there's no way this is the home. There's trucks everywhere. People working.
Construction?
Yes.
Oh no.
Not construction. Well, trucks, but like I guess they were cleaning up for us.
Okay.
But there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And I'm freaking out at this point. I'm
in a drone video, those are obviously going to show.
I can't believe my first time is going to be like this. I'm just freaking out. And Mark's wife shows up. Okay, Mark.
Is she in the business too?
Yeah, she's a photographer too. And I had just, actually I met her first before I met him.
Okay.
So she showed, like in person. So she shows up and I'm like, hey, like, she's like, hey, what's up? You know, like, let's just shoot this thing. And I'm like, okay. So we start shooting this thing, right? And it's so big, like, she's in a couple of rooms, I'm in a couple of rooms, and slowly these guys leave. But the lights keep going in and out, on and off. And if
so
you
it was just a very stress-free environment.
Horrible. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. I wish.
Yeah.
Just, I'm freaking out on every level.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe this happened. I'm like, this entire year, like, I try to get this guy. This is what you were waiting for.
Yes. This is your chance.
But part of me is kind of happy because his wife's there, so she could see what happened. Because one of the things I despise to do is, like, give excuses. Yeah. I cannot stand myself. I get mad at myself for giving it, even though it could be, like, the right one.
Yeah.
Like,
even though it might be a reason, not an excuse.
Like, just the other day, some guy bumped into me. Like, I had it on dash cam. He bumped into me, like, straight up. You know, just like a big fat scratch on my bumper. And like, I still like let him go home. Like, dude, whatever, I'm late. Because I was late to my client.
Yeah,
like, I'm not going to give them.
You don't want to give them.
It was my first time working with the new real agent. I was like, I can't. Anyway, so.
Wow. So another tip for anyone that wants to crash into you.
Yeah.
Just do it on your way to a job. Because you're going to let them go.
But on the other way, no. Like, you have to see, after this, I'll show you the video.
Just post your schedule for us.
It's freaking hilarious. Like, you have to watch the video. And the guy goes like, I swear to God, I did not hit you. He's a Persian guy. He's like, I swear to God. I'm like, there is a camera.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
This is
Anyways,
when you take photos of everything and then have your
did.
insurance deal with it later. Don't let them just leave.
1 month ago, I had bumped someone on the freeway. My friend was already gonna fix the bumper. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
torture this guy.
Yeah.
I don't care. He was wrong, but whatever. It is
Yeah.
what it is. So, anyways, what was I? Oh, so I shoot this thing, right?
Yeah.
And keep in mind, like, finally these guys are out. I'm getting my shots, and then keep in mind the whole thing is glass. So as the drone backs up, you see this beautiful, like, all glass, and then the lights are pop. Like, anyone that's into construction, if you ask them, I think the way it works is like the city gives you like temporary power, and then like after a while, when the house is built, they come back, they give you they connect it better. I don't know. I know it
Okay.
sounds stupid, but like
Yeah.
it's something like that. It's almost they know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. So it was at that time because it was new construction. The lights
Yeah.
were still night. You can't have all of them on if you have the AC on and this light, whatever. So I shoot this thing and I edit it. I think I edited it. I don't know. It was just a blur.
Okay.
I sent it to him and he messages me. He was like, "Yo, man, this is another level." I was like,
So
"What?"
he loved it.
He
You
loved
should've
it.
been like, well, you should see the rest of my work
I was like,
when the lights are on.
yeah. And I was like, "What?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Dude, this is good." I was like, "No." But I'm like arguing at this point with him.
Yeah.
He's like, "Man," he's like, "I want you to be my new guy now."
Amazing.
So
Tell me you said yes.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay,
And I
good.
cried, and I looked at the ring. I'm just kidding. So
It was a
like,
typical
oh my
movie.
God. So I say yes to this, and him and I started becoming really close. And
Yeah.
man, again, like I can't stress enough, he was so patient with me from the beginning. Like I didn't know what unbranded videos were, so it was like,
Yeah.
oh, he was like, you take the branding out. So he is phenomenal. Same thing with him. I started giving him a cut for
Yeah. For referrals.
yeah, which
Yeah.
is great. He came up to be a photographer who offers both.
Yeah.
And he trusted me, and I was giving good stuff, and my customer service is phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, I could tell you're
It's
letting
like-
people get away just so you can be there on time. Yeah.
Yes,
It's a big one.
I even showed the
This is
agent.
the story I will be telling everyone whenever I refer them to you.
I showed the agent the video. She's like,
Yeah.
"You're crazy. You
Yeah.
could have been late." I was
Yeah.
like, "No." We were laughing about it. Anyway, it's okay, no big deal. So yeah, so he started like referring me to these like amazing agents, like one after another, people from $1 million listing, from
Wow.
this and that. Like I started to have this unbelievable portfolio.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, it wasn't just his, but because I was in there, like I was still doing my, the office
Oh yeah, your
sponsorship.
presentations.
Yeah, presentation.
Yeah.
And then my very, very good friend named Alex, whose wedding I shot, her and her mom, like they do this phenomenal, like, you know, those like tables at the weddings, like they have like the chocolates.
Oh,
and
yeah.
things.
So they're like
I
event
hired
planners.
them. Yes.
Yeah.
I hired them to do this insane table. So the realtors were like, "What is this?" Like one time they came out and like on Cannon Drive, which is like
Yeah.
1 or 2 after like Rodeo or something.
Okay.
Right on the street, they started like at Cold Banker. They started doing crepes.
Oh,
Agents
that's
were
so cool.
losing it. They're like the whole place smelled amazing.
Yeah. That's different. That's
Yeah.
a differentiation.
Dude, everybody else takes like donuts.
Yeah.
I'm over here with like
Crepes.
DJ licking
Yeah.
2 turntables.
Yeah.
They're like making crepes.
That's so funny.
I did another one at a different office. Same
Yeah.
thing. Another one. And like,
That's memorable. Even if they
Yes.
didn't get a chance to look at your work, who are they going to remember if they need someone with your services? Obviously, the crepe guy.
100%. Then I
Yeah.
started doing like raffles. You know what I mean?
Wow.
For like then my favorite.
How many years ago was this?
4 or 5 years ago.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
was like right at the start of when social media hit big.
Yeah, it was.
Because
It was
even
getting,
though it was
yeah.
very big before, I feel like over the past 4 or 5 years, it's really blown up.
It has. It has.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting, because here's the thing. Fortunately, I have a decent following on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I have. It's not the like. I think it's like approaching like 15,000. It's not
Okay.
a lot like compared to like a bunch of other
Yeah.
people, but it's like solid
But
brokers,
it's active
realtors.
followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like good stuff. So
Yeah.
I think one realtor even sold a house through my Instagram.
Oh,
like
wow.
another broker's site. He was like, "Oh, I saw it on
Yeah.
Open House Foto," and I was like,
That's
"Oh
so
wait!" I
cool.
got so excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, "Give me a cut."
Right. I was going to ask, but
me a cut.
knowing you probably didn't
Yeah.
ask.
No, I didn't. I didn't, of course. But yeah, it was kind of crazy, man. Like just slowly, like, so what happened was like as I was working with Mark, I was obtaining those really awesome homes.
Yeah.
And then using that to go to these, real estate events and stuff like that. and just like using that. I'm like, look what we did. And everybody was like, oh my God, you did that house. I'm like, yeah. They're like, wow, you did so good. But I know like one of the things you asked me like prior on coming on is like,
Yeah.
what separates me? And I
Yeah.
think like what sets me aside rather. And I think it has to be personality, honestly, because like, you know, they say you can't choose your family, but you can't you can't choose your coworkers.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what do you say? But I almost become a coworker that you can choose.
Yeah.
Because the truth is like when I shoot the video, then we have to do revisions and stuff like that. So like we're together for a while. It's not like
Yeah.
a quick
And
thing
you're
and then
working
like
closely with them.
correct.
Yeah.
And then so I become like really friends with them, and I've been like another thing that I can tell like people that are watching this and stuff is like listen to podcasts, like
Yeah, listen to
Constant-
podcasts,
yes.
people.
constantly,
Yeah.
and do audiobooks.
Yeah.
I'm doing audiobooks right now. Crazy amazing stuff that I'm hearing. Like it has helped me in my business so much.
Any book recommendations?
Yes, Science of Getting Rich.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Science of Getting Rich. I think that's something that just last week one of our
Really?
viewers recommended on our Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
Science of Getting Rich.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And then another one I'm reading right now, listening to second time, it's Influence. It talks
By-
about how people, I don't know.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
have it in a link in the bottom or
Okay.
something. I have it on my audiobooks on my phone. Influence is really great. Another podcast, like I was telling you, like how I build it, like you hear how companies build, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like there was this one doctor who was a doctor, and then he had this like crazy business on the side, and then he started doing like handwritten letters, and I'm thinking, I was like, I need to do handwritten
Yeah.
letters, like this is
Especially
cool.
in today's digital age.
Yes.
Yeah, whenever I apply to any jobs, I immediately after I submit the application, I find who the hiring person is, and I'll write them a handwritten letter and I'll send it. And another thing that I do is I spray my favorite perfume in there, just so when they
Oh,
open
that's
it, they
freaking
smell me.
awesome.
Yeah, if they ever smell that again, they know they should have hired me. Yeah,
What if
yeah.
the mailman has a skunk spray him while he's taking your letter?
Well, damn then. I guess they will just think of either skunk or weed when they open up my letter. Yeah, I mean, it could be memorable still.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I make myself laugh a lot. I don't know.
For
We're
now,
like-
if I ever want a job change, which I don't see happening in the
Yeah.
future, I will definitely just also email the recruiting person and say, what did my letter smell like? Hopefully not skunk. Yeah.
So I started like doing these events and stuff like that, slowly like getting, and then one thing that crazy story.
Yeah.
Okay. I know people love stories, so
Yeah, I love
So-
stories. I think that's the way I learn.
So
For me personally.
one day, I don't know if I saw her on TV or I read about her somewhere. It was like a broker in
Okay.
in Beverly Hills. She's like
Okay.
one of the top brokers.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what got into me. I took a bottle of Vouv, which is like my favorite
Okay,
champagne. That's
yeah.
what I do during the raffles too, by the way.
Yeah.
Vouv and a free drone photos. So I do this like Vouv thing, and I literally just walk into their office, and the reception's sitting there, and I'm like, "Hey, is she in?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "No problem." So I put the Vouv. I literally take a post-it note, and I just be like, "Call me if you have 5 minutes" or something like that with my
Yeah.
crappy handwriting, and I put my business card.
Did you explain to the receptionist who
no,
you were?
No.
Okay,
I'm like,
so you
give it
could
to
have
her.
just been
Dude,
someone
they
that
don't
was into
care.
her.
Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
before COVID. Like so many people going in and out. As long as it's not taking, I think she's fine.
Yeah.
Because I'm
I
the
mean,
bomb.
then it might be a
So-
problem.
Yeah, that would be a big problem. So she was just like, no problem. She put it aside. It was like a beautiful one too, like the Vouv.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like the bottle. It was like one of those like
Yeah,
really
with the
cool
little
like
sleeve.
yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Like they're bomb. So she's like, okay. The next day, the broker calls me. She's like, why is there champagne on my desk? I'm like, because I want to work with you.
Yeah.
She's like, what do you do? I'm like, I do photo and video of like luxury real estate. She was like, okay. And then I think that just that year alone, I think she gave me like $4,000 worth of business.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
and I still work
that
with
was
her.
definitely not an expensive bottle of
No,
champagne
no.
after all the returns.
Yes, big
Yeah.
time. And then I still work with her. I just did two
Wow.
properties for her.
Yeah.
It was like a $4 million condo in Venice Beach
Amazing.
and a $8 million penthouse in Beverly Hills.
Wow.
She freaking loves my work. Like
Yeah.
we're like in sync. She's
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
"You're
for
so
such a
good."
big portfolio,
Yeah.
you would only give it to people you trust.
Yeah, she's like, so till today for
Yeah.
one champagne, Can
I
you
mean,
imagine?
it's definitely not because of the champagne.
Well,
the champagne
yeah,
got
yeah.
you through the door, but
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
work.
But what I'm saying is like
Yeah.
in my mind, like that one
Yeah.
thing that went in there, like I probably gotten like maybe $15,000 worth of business from her.
Wow.
Over the years, of course.
Yeah.
Not like, yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
It's
It shows you how a
crazy.
simple move can really help in the long run.
100%. And
Yeah.
honestly, like, oh, another book. I had a good one, and a lot of people know this. It's the
Yeah.
4-Hour Work Week.
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah, I haven't read it, but
Yeah.
someone recommended that to me.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Especially when you run your own business, like it's important to like outsource things, and that's obviously that's what the book talks about like constantly. And my friends told me, so I started like hiring people to edit. A lot of our editing is done like overseas and stuff like that.
And it saves you a lot of time where you can go in person and do
yes.
your work, so you don't have to sit at home for hours and do the tedious work.
It is tedious, and not only that, it's like they're so much better than me. They're so
Well,
good.
yeah, that's what they do full time,
They are
right?
so
when you
freaking
specialize in something, you're pretty special at it.
And
Yeah.
it's crazy because like kind of going back to Instagram,
Yeah.
some of my biggest clients I got from Instagram. One day I started following this like crazy car company. Like they
Okay.
do like all the like tricks and stuff on their
Okay.
cars. I don't
Yeah.
want to give their name, but
Yeah, they
And I
pimp
started
up their cars.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like we're talking about like high-end cars, not,
Okay.
not like Honda Civics or
Got
something
it.
like that. So I started following their followers, and I was
Okay.
like, who are these people?
Yeah.
And few of them ended up
17-year-old
being
boys that want a nice car.
yes, but some
Possibly.
of them are their actual
Yeah.
clients.
Okay.
So two of the guys that I started like following and contacting were like
Yeah.
these big time developers.
Okay.
So I don't know how these samples that I sent them, they loved it. So they till today they work with me. One of them is like one of the biggest developers right now.
Wow.
He's like best friends with all the like NBA players.
Yeah.
I freaking love this guy.
Oh my goodness.
He's
That
a
is pretty cool.
He's a phenomenal.
Are we
human
looking at a
being.
career change? Are you going to start filming NBA?
I hope so. Well,
You hope so?
He did.
Yeah.
Get me the gig to shoot with Dwayne Wade's birthday.
Oh, that is pretty
yeah.
cool.
So like a month ago,
Yeah.
I shot Dwayne Wade's for his
Yeah.
birthday. It was amazing. Like
Yeah, I
Jaro
bet.
sang all the
Oh my goodness.
best
I'm
songs.
imagining all the faces there.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like it was so like LeBron was there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we didn't say hi too much. I wasn't talking to him. We had a
Yeah.
thing
You're in
with LeBron.
professional mode.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
"What's up, LeBron?" He's like, he was,
Yeah.
I was
You're
like,
acting
"Cool."
like this is just a normal
Yeah.
day meeting a million celebrities.
And it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like we shot his birthday, and then Ludacris came.
Oh, wow.
And then he even asked me, he's like, "What time is it?" I was like, "Whatever."
Yeah, I'm too
Yeah,
good to tell
I
you the
was
time.
like-
I'm busy working.
He was like doing his
Yeah.
thing because we were all waiting to
Yeah.
be midnight. So that was his actual Dwayne's birthday.
Yeah.
But amazing people all around. Like
Yeah.
he was there too. The developer was there. So I've been beyond fortunate. Like through him, I met like we did photo shoots with Mike Tyson.
Oh, wow.
We did photo shoots.
Yeah, this really
with-
shows you what networking can do. It can
100%.
open crazy doors that you
Yes.
never even dreamed of going through.
And you could never, and I've said this, like, I cannot stress this enough, like, never assume anything. Like, so many times when I would start working with these, like, big time developers, like, people would message me on Instagram, or, like, not just, like, realtors, developers, like,
Yeah.
people would message me, they're like, bro, you're so lucky, like, he got money. What does that have to do with anything?
Well, yeah,
what does that mean?
have to
What does
do?
that mean anything?
Because
Like, is it
I
just
can
gonna-
meet someone with money, but I cannot. I have a little mini drone, like one of the cheap ones for fun.
Yeah.
And if you see my videos, you will get motion sickness. So even if I meet someone with money, I can't do this work for them. So not sure what that means.
I'm laughing because
Yeah.
mine was like that too.
Yeah.
That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah, it's hard.
So,
It's
yeah,
shaky
and it's not like
moving them around. Yeah.
my first one was like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of like shows you like don't make assumptions
Yeah.
about rich or poor people
Yeah.
ever. Like just because they're rich, they're not gonna be like, oh, you knocked on my door. Well, here's
Yeah.
money. No, you gotta work for it. You gotta
Yeah.
respect it. And kind of going back to like podcasts and books, like you gotta educate yourself. You wanna be a person that knows about everything.
Yeah. You
Just
got to
a
be
little
able
bit.
to run your
A
business.
little bit of politics.
Yeah.
A little bit of like I watch cartoons sometimes, like Family Guy, like
Yeah.
and I like use some of their jokes, and people are like, "Dude, you're really funny." I'm
Yeah.
like, learn about technology. Learn about like it could be plants. What if like one day you're like shooting a property and there's a plant and you just end up like talking about that? Learn about cars,
Yeah.
watches, luxury. Like just know about everything just
Yeah,
a little
this goes
bit.
to being educated. I've heard a lot of people say that they only talk to or would marry an educated person, but for me, education isn't that degree that you have, because there's tons of people that are super book smart,
Yeah.
but you can't carry a conversation with them. And for example, for you, you're a photographer. You meet people in all industries. You should be able to carry a conversation with anyone. I'm not saying go learn rocket science if you're gonna shoot for an astronaut, but if you kind of know what's happening with SpaceX being a competitor, whatever it is, then you're an educated person. That's what that means.
100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've gotten really fortunate, and like I said, like a lot of people ask me, like, because I get like a lot of DMs, I really do.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey man, love your work," because I was like on another podcast.
Yeah.
A few years back, and they're like, "Oh, I just heard your podcast, man. It's so encouraging. Like, how did you start?" Or they'll be like, "So how do I start my thing?" And I'm like, I get so upset, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because I didn't have the mentality when I was starting. See,
you're upset you didn't ask people.
No, and I'll tell you why. I'm upset because I'm supposed to just tell a complete strangers how I get clients.
Life story.
That's no.
Yeah.
So imagine if I messaged Mark one day and I was like, "Yo, send me clients." Why would he do that? I was like, "Hey, if you sent me, here's what you can have, and here's what you can also have, and then this will be good for us." I sat there and I described them what are some of the advantages of us working together.
Yeah.
I didn't just call him one day. Like, people need to understand, why would people do something for you?
Yeah.
No one owes you anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to do the work.
100%. Like on weekends, I shoot weddings. Like we have like our wedding videography business, which is like really photography, business, which kind of helps because like I work with people. It's intense, and then you work with real estate, and it's like nice and calm. So like it's like a boot camp, and then
it's very different.
Yeah, and like same thing. Like I never approach like event planners, and I'm like, "Hey, you think you can send me clients?" No, I'm like, "Hey, I was wondering if I can offer your whole team complimentary photos. Can I do like cool videos for you guys? Hey, how about if I give you a percentage back?" Now, like.
Now it's a business transaction.
Yes, nobody owes you anything ever. Like people need to get that in their head.
I definitely agree with you, but the next time someone messages you, just send them our podcast.
Hell yeah.
You talked about everything that they need to know.
Hell yeah. Like I'll 100% do that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know, man. Like, and then so what we do now actually, and I had like a gig on Fiverr. We offer like hourly rates to coach people.
Okay.
So if like someone is barely starting, they can pay us on an hourly rate to do that with me.
Yeah, if you're
and
really
they're gonna
dedicated
get
to
so
learning
much for their money.
Yeah.
First of all, some people go and then like they'll spend unbelievable amount of money on one camera.
Yeah.
How about a drone? How about a stabilizer? How about marketing budget? You know what I mean? Like,
no, they just go big, but they don't think of everything else that they're gonna need.
Just do this thing. How about like where to get like licensed music? Which website offer this? Like I know everything at this point. That sounds weird. Not everything, but like a lot of the things I already know.
Yeah, so you've answered most of your questions before investing in something.
Absolutely. So imagine someone like pays me an hourly rate saying like, "Hey, like coach me through this process." Or I remember I even did this. It was like a paid gig. Somebody paid me to go through their 3 different videos and see what they did right and what they did wrong.
Oh wow. That definitely shows you that they are there to learn. It's not just your advice is going to empty ears.
Absolutely. Yeah. See, those I'm okay with. Yeah. But like someone randomly messaging you like, "Hey, you know, like, that makes no sense."
No, I totally get you.
Yeah. Don't like again, like I said, I cannot stress this enough. Nobody owes you anything ever.
Yeah.
You know, they say like, "Oh,
not
hey,
just that they don't owe you." I'm so sorry, but no one has the time. Every single person that messages you to respond to them and give them life advice. First of all, it's very different, the application of what your entire life, what you've done, than what they have. So if they really want that advice, not only do they have to tell you what their background is, what they've tried, what hasn't worked, just specific questions, and that can take a really long time.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you know,
this is why when you want to give advice like this, just log on to the Pocket Network. You can be a Pocket advisor, and people will pay you for your advice.
Done.
And once they've actually submitted that payment, you know they're serious. I'm not going to pay for something if I'm going to ignore it, or if I'm just looking for a handout.
Here's a funny thing. I know this is kind of like off the subject, but my wife and I went to Italy. Yeah. And you know, ice cream. Yeah. So we went to this place.
Ice cream or gelato?
Gelato.
Okay.
This place had 150 flavors.
Oh, wow.
I cursed them in my head for doing something like that to poor tourists like my wife and I.
How many did you try?
Here's the thing. You can't try. Watch this. This is so genius. This is what I'm saying. First, you walk into the register. Yeah. You pay for how many scoops.
Okay.
Then once you have that receipt that you paid,
Yeah.
you may get some samples.
Okay.
It's freaking
Yeah,
genius.
because some people will just walk in and get full off samples.
Yes,
Especially with 150 flavors.
kind of like saying exactly what you just
Yeah.
indicated. Once that person pays, you
Yeah.
know they're serious.
Exactly.
And a lot of people that are watching, like when it comes to prices, people ask me like, "What do you charge?" Don't freaking ask me that. It's none of your business.
Yeah.
So you can just ask that to anyone.
Exactly.
What are you
But
gonna do? Sit
also-
there like do the math? Like, okay,
Yeah.
he shut 5 houses this week. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
First of all, don't
Each project is different also.
100%. And then we have clients like, for example, right now we work with a PR firm, and I freaking love them. Thanks to them, a few days ago, I got to shoot the most expensive home in America, the $250 million Bel Air home.
Oh
It's
my
called The
goodness.
One. I was there, like I'm standing, I'm like, how the hell did I get to this?
That is amazing.
Why? Because the PR firm freaking loved me. They met me at another event, and they loved me, and they're
Yeah.
like, we love the way you work, we love the content you provide, because I
Yeah,
have
that
like
communication is memorable.
I have like really good microphones and stuff like that, and I'm always like, because the thing is like, whenever you interview someone, right? Let's say now I don't mean like a podcast, like let's say you're a realtor, right? And then you're like, yeah, I just want to make a quick video that says, hey, my name is such and such. Welcome to 123 Evergreen Street. There's all these amenities. Here's the neighborhood, and I hope you enjoy the tour, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are nervous. So they need someone like me to calm them down, to make them laugh. First of all, I make everyone laugh a lot.
To make it comfortable.
Yeah. Once they laugh, and I'm like, and then I study them. If they can't say the whole thing full, we chop it up into little pieces.
Yeah.
Little by little. I kid you not, one of the agents I work with, she was like, oh my God, how do your other clients do? And it's been about 2 years. One of my other clients looked at her view. She's like, how does she do it? She makes it so easy.
That's so
then I
funny.
told her that. She's like, wow, Nick.
It's
She's
not
like,
you, it's me.
Yeah. She's like,
Yeah.
I came such a long way. She's like, thank
Yeah.
you for like constantly coaching me.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I have background in wedding photography and fashion photography. So when I'm working especially with women, I know what lighting looks good for them. I saw this video, somebody sent me this video, like a realtor. She's like, I hate this. I hate the video they made.
Yeah.
By the way, anytime someone says they hate a video but from another videographer, I never put anyone down. I'm like, I don't know what the situation was like. You don't know anything.
You don't know what the problem was at that moment.
So I
maybe
looked
they were
into-
doing construction and lights weren't working.
100%. Like you don't know anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy. Even if that person is the worst person in the world, I'm still not gonna put him down. It is what it is. Like
you don't lift your business up by putting others down.
no, I'll do my own thing.
That shows that you know the value of your work.
Like let them do their thing. Like it's not gonna make me any better. So she goes like, I hate my video, and I'm like, why? So she's like, she sent it to me. Then I realized what she meant.
What is it?
The video was great. The audio was perfect.
Yeah.
But she was standing under a light. She
And
was
the
like
shadows.
a freaking raccoon, bro. Like just dark sides on her eyes. And I'm like, and that videographer didn't understand how to work with people. See, that's one of the things that sets me aside because I'm able to work with people.
Yeah.
Stand up straight. Don't bite your lip. Is your hair supposed to be like this or like that? Oh my God, Nick, thank you so much for telling me.
Would you tell me if my hair was messed up right now?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay,
Would you
thank
tell me if my hair was messed up right now?
I wouldn't, because your hair just like, I feel like you're one of those people that it always looks phenomenal.
Thank you.
You're
But I think you're just saying that.
No, I'm really not. I wouldn't lie to you on camera.
See,
We're
like-
all about transparency here.
Thank you. See, like you could compliment my eyebrows. It's cool.
Yeah.
So that's what it was like. That's what sets me aside is my personality, constantly making people laugh, constantly telling them like stand up straight, don't say that, don't say You know how many times realtors show up to a shoot and it drives me nuts, and they know this, they are not prepared.
Yeah.
What do I talk
Yeah, if
about?
you don't have the script,
Son of a gun.
Yeah.
What do you want? I'm like, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
Just repeat after me. And then I set the whole thing up. They're like, dude, you made it so easy for us. Thank you so much. You're the best. Like, and then sometimes realtors have like bad days. Like right now I'm at a level where a lot of brokers trust me with unbelievably massive homes. One time I learned how to ride a skateboard in a $30 million home.
oh my God. So how the heck does that happen?
So the day before I was playing with my nephew.
Yeah.
And at a playground, there's this fake plastic tree.
Yeah.
I go on it, I drop my hand, and my foot just like bends on it. And my foot's like this massive.
Oh my goodness.
So I put whatever home remedy I can on my foot. The next day, I can barely step on it. I go to Big Five, and I get a skateboard. So I have a camera, and I just push myself like this, and I get that. And I did it. It was a phenomenal home, $30 million home. I forgot, I think this was Bel Air or something. The realtor loved it. But as soon as the
So
realtor
funny.
left, I got the skateboard out.
Yeah.
And it was like a 4-story home, absolutely massive. I'm like, I'm gonna die today.
Oh my
and keep in mind, in my job, you don't call in sick.
Yeah.
Because you know why? because
They'll
someone else
find
will
someone
show
else.
up.
Yeah.
Exactly. You don't do that.
Yeah.
That's where you have like right now again. Thank God. Like I have clients who they're like, "Oh, you're busy. We'll just schedule around you." Like it's such a humbling experience.
Yeah. Because now people are coming to you. They're recognizing
Yeah.
your work.
Yes.
Yeah. The quality of your work.
And another thing that I can tell a lot of like viewers is like be nice to everyone.
Yeah.
Not just that, but like you never know who that person may be.
Yeah.
I don't know how this happened, but one day I get a call from email says from Tracy Tudor team. I don't know
Okay.
if you know Tracy Tudor. She
No.
is one of the agents on $1 Million Listing.
Okay.
At that time, I didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
She is a friggin' badass.
Yeah.
Best person in the world. Like, whatever. And she's half Armenian. Who would have freaking thought? I didn't
Yeah.
know this.
So that makes it all the better for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So her and I worked the first time. It's kind of awkward. The first time her and I worked together, and again, she's on TV. I'm freaking out at this
Yeah.
point. I have my assistant with me, because I have to walk backwards. He has to put his hand behind me. So we do like the videos and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my God, I gotta do a good job. Like, I felt like I was gonna screw everything up. Anyways, we do a good job. And then the assistant that was there, that I was very close to it, she's like, thank you, you do this so well. She's like, and then one day Tracy went and she did like a video with another videographer.
Okay.
And I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
she's cheating.
She's cheating on me.
Yeah, I felt so, like, keep in mind, like, I've never really had problems with like girls.
Yeah.
But it was always with companies. If I
Okay.
did a presentation at a company, nobody called me, I would freak out. I'm like, what did
Well,
I
it's
say
very
wrong?
different. Personal relationship with someone
Yeah.
is very different than a business transaction.
It's still, to me, it's like,
So I don't think you're the problem.
Like, I was like, what did I say wrong?
Yeah.
Was it this? What was it my hair? Was it this and that?
It was my hair.
Yeah. So like, I would
Yeah.
freak out. I was like, what did I wrong? So anyway, so like she goes to work in another company, and then I get a call from her office. They're like, she wants to do these like 2 properties with you.
Yeah.
So as I'm putting a microphone on her, she's like, hey, we tried this one company, something like that. And then he's not as funny as you, and his audio kind of sucked.
That's
and like
so
you're so
funny.
easy to work with.
Yeah.
When she said that, I didn't feel like, I felt amazing.
Yeah.
But
it was like a
because-
sigh of relief.
Yeah, because like I was like, oh my God, people pay attention to your personality. People pay attention to you.
Yeah.
How you make them feel comfortable. Like her and I, we joke around all the
Yeah.
time. Like
There are some people
crazy
that you
jokes.
dread seeing.
Yeah.
They're like a drain.
Yeah,
So
you're just
definitely,
like-
if when you compare 2 people, I know what she's talking about.
So it was amazing. So I can't stress it enough. Like,
Yeah.
like I remember one time I spoke to a broker. I offered the broker amazing prices and service, and then I went to her assistant, who is obviously like makes decision for her,
Yeah.
and I said, hey, I was like, it's Easter. She's like, okay. I'm like, I saw your photo. I'm like, let me do a complimentary photo for your family. She's like,
Oh, wow.
okay. So then she became good friends with
Yeah.
me. She started giving me work through the broker.
That's amazing.
Because the
You're really
assistant-
busy, but you're still doing these things. And this is all marketing. This is all
100%.
marketing. Yeah, that's amazing.
Because
yeah,
a lot
very
of times-
strategic.
Strategy is everything.
Yeah.
Like I've done photos for people when people were telling me like, dude, that person is using you. Like, trust
Yeah.
me, you need to stop doing family photos with that family. And then sure enough, they end up being like a realtor,
Yeah.
and they introduced me to some of the biggest people. And I'm like, see,
Yeah. It
obviously I
always
wasn't doing
pays
it
back.
because I was getting something back. I was just
Yeah.
doing it because like I love that family. I love spending time with them. I love seeing their kids grow up, and they feel extremely comfortable with me, especially when like the husband is at home.
Yeah.
Like he's a surgeon. Like I would come home, the wife's with the kid.
Yeah.
She can't have a stranger there. You know what I mean? So they know me. They trust me. It was an amazing relationship. So like who would have thought?
Yeah, that's amazing. I think your story is so inspiring because honestly, like from what you started off with, it's like if this path literally found you. It's not
Yeah.
like you forced it. It's not like you just like taking photos and you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be good at it. You just developed not only who you are as a business person, but also your own business strategies. Because a lot of the stuff that you're saying, you were doing way before all of these podcasts and books were recommending it. You were doing these things during the time that we had huge companies being successful and not revealing these secrets. So I think you're way ahead of the curve when it comes to all of that. And
so
it
too.
shows that because most of the stuff you're saying, it's very like a social strategy. It just shows your personality. It's not just strategic as in, oh, like I'll just fake being nice for this reason. It's just who you are, but you know that it'll always come back to you.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Like the funniest thing ever. Just the other day, I was following this guy on Instagram.
Yeah.
He's a pretty big developer. They got
Okay.
like nice homes. And again, more business for me. He had a photo of his kids. He built a little one of those like doll homes or
Yeah.
whatever, like little castles
Yeah,
where
yeah.
kids are. And I messaged them, and like pulling permits is like very difficult,
Yeah.
and a lot of some people don't pull permits and they do illegal additions. And I messaged him, I'm like, hey man, did you pull permits for that? He was like, oh man, that's freaking hilarious. I have 5 properties from him.
Oh wow.
One joke.
That is so funny.
One joke. 5 properties. So what I'm saying is that a lot of people that are watching, like, sometimes when you have money, you're like, let me throw 20,000 on Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Let
but
me
that
throw
doesn't always
like
work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let me throw like this. But for all you know, a $500 lunch, a $50 champagne, one joke, personality, a family portrait may get you so much more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, like, just because of my personality, because the PR person that got me the one to shoot at the one, she met me at another developer's where I met through Instagram. And I took a few photos of her.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, and I have this thing. I hope nobody uses it.
Okay.
By the way, I
Okay.
do this thing at weddings.
Yeah.
I like to go and take photos of people at the cocktail hour.
Okay.
And the way I approach them, I'm like, look, the bride told me to take photos of supermodels. I
Oh
just want to
my
make sure I'm
God.
at the right table.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, is this the one with the actors and actresses? They're like, yeah. And
That's
I take
so
photos
funny.
of them. So you have this. So I bring this crazy, amazing positive energy.
Yeah.
And they're laughing.
And also just like for me personally, like just taking photos is super awkward. So if you're able to just make me laugh right
That's
away,
it.
otherwise I will not smile. I'll just
Yeah.
like do that during a
You
photo.
need someone to
Yeah.
tell you that. That's the thing. You need someone to be like,
to make
hey.
it comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people are like, how do I stand? I'm like, on your feet.
Yeah. Good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just like some of the things that I push people to.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I wish we had more time. Okay. I have so many more questions for you, so we definitely need you back for another podcast just to go further into the strategy. But I love all of the stories. This is literally my type of podcast. This is the kind of stories that I literally thrive off of. These are the kind of things that I don't mind listening to for hours at a time. Yeah. So thank you so much. It's been such a great experience. Pleasure. And for everyone, we're going to link all of Nick's social media down below. We'll link his business as well, Camera Productions with a K. So you can reach out to him, like his work, leave him a review if you've used him. And as always, Pocket Network, you can find us across all social media. We'll link everything down below as well. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you so much, Nick, for being with us today.
Thank you.
And as we always say, hopefully this makes you innovate yourself, your career, and always remember that change begins with you. Change begins at home.